Good.
You already thought?
Yep, we're live.
We're live on YouTube on my joint.
All right.
And
let's go
Facebook over
live.
here on mine.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna get that light behind us, so we all look dark. But that's okay.
Yeah. All right, everyone. My name is Marcus Bremens, the Yoga Ninja, MMA fighter, bare knuckle fighter, martial artist, and I also dabble in general health and wealth as well. As a yoga instructor and a Tai Chi practitioner, I come across many different many different subjects and different healing arts and different modalities. With Sifu Lester, I practice the Yan style Tai Chi. Is very good, another healing modality. And me being certified Comedic Yoga led me to meet this guy right here, who is the holistic health consultant, Aaron Motley, aka the Breathmaster.
Greetings, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you all. First of all, let me give all praises due and thanks to the Almighty, my mother who brought me here, my father who house we're at, and my little brother who inherited the house, and these gentlemen for this opportunity to share with a broader audience and step forthright and openly as the global community elder that I am. As Marcus stated, I'm a holistic health consultant, breath master, and creator of the Breathmaster certification. Now, when you listen to the Sifu, he's going to tell you about his lineage a bit when it comes to Tai Chi. As I thought about this gathering, I thought about the fact that, a lot of arts are created and they have lineages and what have you. This is one of the few times you're going to see in this day and time the creator of an art. I say creator, but was melding a bunch of things together, but creator of the Breathmaster certification. And what that is this. When you master the breath, you master the basics of life. And I got started on this real quickly because I lost my mother to cancer. And I asked Creator, what can I do to avoid this from happening to me and anybody that I know? So what was given to me, plain and simple, was that oxygen cannot survive cancer cannot survive in an oxygen-rich environment. So I was like, what's the best way and the simplest way to get out more oxygen? Change the way you breathe, i.e. master the breathing process. So this is a way to boost your immune system and a whole lot of other stuff. We know that the major issue on the planet now has respiratory repercussions. So when you master the breath, you boost your immunity and you have your body to deal with that. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and segue to Sifu Lester, Tai Chi master extraordinaire. He's going to tell you about himself a little bit.
Well, first and foremost, I must say thank you for actually having us here at your place.
Mm-hmm.
We got real country today, family. So we're out here we're northwest of our residential location. So we're in Belglades.
Mm-hmm.
And you see Yoga Ninja over there munching on some homegrown.
Yes. Yeah, this is my second time ever eating real sugar cane. Like I never growing up in Alabama, this wasn't a thing. So I'm totally enjoying this. Thank you so much for this.
So he's going to school you a little bit on the benefits of the sugar cane in a minute. But for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sifu Lester. I'm the creator of Tai Chi 360, creator and developer as well. Master of Tai Chi, been doing Tai Chi going on 25 plus years. And currently, Marcus has been studying with me, and he told me about the Breathmaster. And anyone that knows Tai Chi or know anything about meditation, Tai Chi being a type of meditation, we know how profound and how, I just say, downright serious the breath is when it comes to life in general. So right away, I told Marcus, I want to meet the guy, and possibly I'll be his next student as well, because I know that I can use help in that area. And that's why I invited my family from Tai Chi 360, Patreon family, Facebook family, to come and listen to this very important message that I feel lucky to have found, to be honest with you, family. So come on in, get comfortable, go ahead and send out the link, invite some more people, and let's see what needs to do to be more healthy in these days and times.
Eat more sugar cane.
And to piggyback on what the good brother said, Share, share, share. Get as many people on as possible. I know, my live audience probably is not as big as these guys, but this is a process. So I see I got my sister Juanita over here. Send that link out, sis. Get these people on. What's up? I got my brother, good brother Lawrence Glasgow.
I got like 4 people.
Send it out, bro. This brother is also a holistic health consultant trained by the late great Dr. Laila O. Africa, who taught us many benefits of nutrition and what have you. And let me say about sugar cane. Sugar is the #1 drug on the planet. Why is it a drug? Dr. Africa taught us that when you separate a chemical from its natural format, you basically create a drug. And sugar is the #1 drug on the planet. Everybody, practically everybody, has some level of sugar addiction. However, when you're eating sugar cane, basically you're chewing the sugar, you're chewing the juice, you're extracting the juice from the sugar cane. And in that process, you're extracting a lot of minerals. #1 being iron, which is very good for your bloodstream. Also, in the process of chewing, you're getting a lot of saliva mixed in. So that is going to help process this as a food, not as a solvent, which, sugar pretty much is the drug and so on. But anyway, we're just going to
your teeth.
And as far as your teeth, it definitely will strengthen your teeth because it's going to strengthen your jawbone, and it will help you hold on to your teeth.
Okay.
Unlike sugar, the processed, I've seen people who, when they're doing so much processed sugar, literally the bone melts and they wind up spitting out 2 or 3 teeth at a time and wondering why. So if you're diabetic, needless to say, you've been told so many things about what you need to do to get off of sugar and what have you. I'm gonna give you a quick tip. I also have a moringa tree over here in my dad/brother's yard. If you want to increase your water intake and minimize your sugar intake, cut your sugar craving, get moringa seeds. Chew 2 or 3 of those seeds before you drink 16 ounces of water. That water is going to taste like sugar water. And it will cut your craving for sugar. I got a young lady that is on a protocol with me right now, and that's how I got her to increase her water intake and decrease her sugar intake.
Wow. Moringa seed.
Isn't that right, Tiara? She on there somewhere.
So getting back to the breath, one of the reasons that I looked you up was on the yoga when they have the 8 limb path, and pranayama is one of the limbs of there. So I wanted to deepen my yoga practice, and I wanted to do something different that most fighters and martial artists don't do. And I remember this guy named George St. Pierre said that he had a breathing coach. And I thought that was weird as shit back in the day. I was like, well, why do you need somebody to tell you how to breathe? You do that naturally, and now going through yoga, understanding the different breaths of fire, cleansing breath. You showed me the Breathmaster Technique. As a martial artist, it's good because you gotta know when to breathe, when to exhale on your punches. To get the proper amount of power out of the technique. You don't hold your breath when you throw punches. That makes you tired, and then your punches are ineffective as well. So just like you saying, the breath life, I wanted to learn how to use the breath more in my martial arts, and that's what brought me to find you, and see how to calm yourself down, having anxiety and you get over anxious, and then how do you calm yourself down? You do it with the breath, and instead of other pills to help calm you down, you can calm yourself down by controlling your breath.
Fantastic. On that note, let me say that I already told you all how I got into the breath work, i.e., the wellness practice overall. But what I discerned was this: everybody needs to improve their breathing. There's so many aspects of life that is helped by the breath. And in my thought processes and all the stuff I was looking at, I came up with what I call the mastery principle. And this is basically says that anytime you want to master a thing, you find out what the foundational principles of that thing is, and you practice those until you become a novice, and then you develop mastery over that thing, and then you continue to practice. If you want to master this process called life, you need to master the breath. And beyond that, what I realize is that everybody's not going to take Tai Chi. Everybody's not going to take yoga. Everybody's not going to become a martial artist, but everybody's breathing. So what I wanted to do and what I achieved is this: tying, using the basic principle of yoga and Tai Chi and all of those moving meditations, which is linking the breath to movement. So with the Breathmaster Technique, you learn that anytime the lungs are expanding or you're doing an expansive movement, you're inhaling. So anytime the lungs are contracting or you're doing some type of training or contractive movement, you're exhaling. So with that, any movement you're doing, you're either expanding or contracting. So any expansive movement is an inhalation, and any contractive movement is an exhalation. There's so many variations you can do to mix it up that has extreme benefits, but that's the primary. And that's how you master this whole process of life, when you're mastering the breath and you're using the Breathmaster Technique in your day-to-day flow. So what I share with Marcus and hopefully with Sifu Lester is that you go through 3 basic postures throughout the course of the day. You're breathing in all of those. So they're breathing techniques that you apply to all of those postures. Sound vibration. You know, y'all know about Om and all that. All of these things come into play, but they're all very simple. And the best way to master anything, especially life, is to keep it simple. That's why y'all got 3 simple country boys sitting in front of y'all, keeping it simple.
When you did that example right there, you inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Is there any specific reason for that in particular?
Yep.
Would you mind going into that?
Well, I'll just explain the Breathmaster Technique. The way the Breathmaster Technique works is you place the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth and you curl it back. And that's Tai Chi and also a yogic practice. Yoga, they call it the Kajari Mudra. My Taoist practice. From the Taoist practice, I learned this tongue placement. So when you place the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth and you curl it back, you basically open the trachea and allow for more oxygen to get into the lungs. And then when you open your mouth wide, jaw unhinges, and you exhale, and you want to hear that sound, that. And what that does, that's known as the cleansing breath in yoga. Using that ha, not ah, not ah, but ha, it actually engages the abdominal muscles and forces the diaphragm, gently forces the diaphragm up and causes the lungs to collapse to a far greater degree to clear out a lot of debris that's trapped in the lungs. You have people who may have stopped smoking a decade ago, but they do the cleansing breath. And by the 3rd breath, they're going to be tasting tar and nicotine. Believe it or not, there is stuff stuck in your lungs from years ago that you need to clear out.
That's terrible.
So using the cleansing breath as part of the Breathmaster Technique, you're going to get out more carbon dioxide, more debris. And then when you open curl the tongue back and open the trachea up, you're getting more oxygen in. And we need that in order to be vitalized, keep our immune function high, minimize the potential for disease.
We stated earlier about it's hard for cancer to survive in oxygenated areas.
Oxygen-rich environment. They look in the microscope cancer molecules, and they see that those molecules have more carbon base. They have more carbon dioxide and less oxygen. And when they apply oxygen to those cells, they begin to die off. So plain and simple, breathe deeper, fuller, minimize the potential for cancer. And it aids recovery because, again, it can't survive. So if you have cancer, basically, from my perspective, you have cells that are rotting. Part of your body is literally rotting away. and you can bring life back to those particles by getting more oxygen to those cells.
Yes. Yeah. I feel that whenever I do the yoga practice, when you breathe, you actually concentrate on those tight areas to send the breath there to make it feel just a little looser, especially when you exhale. And that's when everything begins to melt and the tension begins to be. So you have to breathe in to saturate the tightness around your body, and then the exhale will melt everything away.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Now, something I noticed in the population as the population begins to age or we get a little older, right?
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that people no longer breathe, excuse me, breathe like a baby. If you look at a newborn baby,
Mm-hmm.
an infant, I'm looking at their belly, and it's like inflating a basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But as we get older, I see people starting to breathe up from a little higher.
Mm-hmm.
And as they begin to get sick, they start breathing from their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there any adverse effects breathing to the mouth versus the nose? The pros and cons of doing one or the other? Why is, why is the Breathmaster technique based on the nose and not the mouth, basically?
When you close your mouth and you inhale through your nostrils, it creates a totally different dynamic. One, it's less. Um, if you open your mouth, the mouth is one big hole, whereas the nostrils are two small holes. Now you have a nose for a reason. It allows oxygen to go up through the nasal cavity, which goes up and around the eyes and through the entire head, and as well as down into the esophagus. Whereas when you inhale through your mouth, it literally just goes down through the esophagus, lungs. So that whole process, as what they say, God don't make no jump. So those people who are not using their nose, they're not using their full breathing apparatus, and they're not getting the benefits of fully oxygenating. I can't say specifically that when you breathe through your nose, it's going to go directly to the brain, but you would the greater oxygenation you get, the more you're going to oxygenate the brain, because it's known that the breath, of all the amount of oxygen that you're taking into your body, the breath is using the vast majority of that,
Right.
no matter what you're doing. So that whole thing about brain fog is contributed to with the lack of oxygen to the brain.
Mm.
So you want to get more oxygen in, and doing that with the mouth closed, curling back, open up the passageway, allowing for the fullness of the breath. Just really just expands your capacity, expands your humanity, it expands your life. We talk about breathing in they say inspiration, and we have these people when they get sick now they put them on a respirator. Now within that word, both those words is the word spirit. When you breathe in that inspiration, you're bringing back into the body. You're going on a respirator, which may be artificial, but it's bringing a spirit back into the body. So why go on an artificial respirator when you can maximize the inspiration through breathing practices and what have you? And if you know somebody that's compromised with breathing, you definitely want to help them by giving them, if you don't take nothing else from this, share the Breathmaster Technique with them. Let's go through that real quick.
Yes.
What's going on with you? Is that
Oh
still-
yeah, it's
still?
my berries time. It's all good. There we go.
So I want everybody to do this, gentlemen as well. Place the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth, curl it back nice and gently. Everything we're doing is gentle. Curl the tongue back and inhale slowly through the nostrils, filling the abdomen up first, as the brother was saying, the belly, and then the chest. So once the lungs are full, release the tongue, drop the jaw, open the mouth, and exhale with a. Once again, curl it back, inhale, nice and slow, into the abdomen. Release it and exhale. Now, this is a progressive breath. So you want to, just like any container, you want to fill, you want to have it as empty as possible to fill it as maximum as possible. So you want to extend the exhalation in order to get more oxygen in. So you extend the exhalation with each exhalation. So, you know, as you're watching us continue to talk and whatever, you can continue to do that breath for the duration of this process.
After that, I just feel like totally relaxed. It feel like it just took the edge off. You know how you come home from work and then you gotta grab a bed, then kick your feet off. And it felt like we just did that. Like just everything just out.
Now, you mentioned have a beer.
Yeah.
I've had people who, doing that breath, and if you're doing it continuously, I've had people who literally say, I feel like I smoked a joint.
Yeah.
I've had people who literally stopped smoking
Yeah.
and said, look, I can get high just breathing. I don't need to spend my money on weed. Can you imagine getting high from breathing
Well,
and not spending money on? I mean, CBD is fine. I'm not knocking anybody's habits or whatever, but I'm just saying you can maximize everything by maximizing the breath. I don't care what it is that you're doing in life, the breath impacts. And for those of you who are asthmatic, those who have insomnia, those who have anxiety and especially panic attacks, all that your body is saying, I'm not getting air. I need more air. So as soon as you start doing this technique, you get more oxygen in your body. Panic attacks, anxiety, asthma attack, over with.
what about people who suffer from sleep apnea?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sleep apnea comes about because of same thing that causes snoring, flabby muscles in the throat, and poor breathing habits. First of all, you're not breathing. You're doing what I call sucking air. It's like, you know, somebody, it might be sitting beside you right now. It might be you. You know, they're just sucking a little bit of air. They're not breathing. So you're not breathing. You're not fully utilizing these muscles in the throat and that are part of the breathing apparatus. And what happens is when you lay down, those flabby muscles and some of that fat basically just causes everything to collapse. And you're not using it that much anyway. So with the snoring, it gets, rather than snoring, sleep apnea, and then stop. Sleep apnea, basically you stop breathing because you've conditioned yourself to not breathe. So when you lay down, everything closes up and you just don't suck air in, for a period of time. So doing this technique while you're awake, and let me say this, with all practices, you need to set yourself a time. And we go with the flow of the day. You get up in the morning, before you eat lunch, before any type of stressful activity, after any type of stressful activity, before any exercise, when you get ready to go to sleep at night. Those are the times, the primary times, but you can do this anytime you're breathing. Show up now. Guess what you can be doing right now. Now, y'all saw us, and some of you participated with us, sitting right here. We didn't get up and go anywhere. We started doing breathing exercise. Lying, seated, or standing, you can do breathing exercise. So get your practice in. And if you want to become a breath master, hit me up, Breathmaster Aaron Motley on Facebook, Breathmaster A on Instagram and YouTube. Also Breathmaster Aaron Motley on YouTube, Instagram and Twitter, Breathmaster A. Breathmaster Aaron Motley on YouTube. And like this guy, you can sign up and you can become a breath master. There are 3 levels. Primary, just for your own edification and for you to help your family out. Breath master level 1. Level 2, you become a breath master instructor. So if you are a personal trainer, if you're a yoga instructor, or if you want to step into that realm lightly, but with great strength and power, you want to become an instructor. That's level 2. Level 3, that's the coup de grace. That's where you be able to walk alongside me as a breathmaster teacher, where you be able to certify other people to train folks to become breathmaster instructors and so on. And with that, you're talking about 6 months, a year, depending upon you. Now, if you're like the Sifu here or this guy, that may be 6 months down the road for you.
Mhm.
Other folks may take a little longer, maybe a year, maybe 2 years. But I believe in going at your own pace. So this is a self-paced process, you know. And it's also a scenario. Oh, check this out. Every class that you take with me is recorded.
Yes,
Every
that's
class
helpful.
that you take with me,
That's very
you can
helpful.
review whenever you want to. Isn't that right, sir?
Yes.
No
that's
matter where
very
you
helpful.
are on the planet, if you got internet, you're gonna get a link from me,
Uh-huh.
and you will be able to review every class. And also with each class, for every lesson that's within the class, I give you a separate video. So if there's 3 lessons in the class, you get 3 separate videos. Also, the video of us working together, which you can review
Okay.
at any point in time for life.
That's important.
So, not to cut you off, but the lessons are these individual one-on-one lessons with you, or it's a group lessons?
It
Just to
depends.
clarify.
If you sign up with a group, it's a group lesson, but you
Okay.
still get individual attention.
Right.
And the specific separate lessons are all pre-recorded. These are lessons that I do and I've done privately by myself. So you will get that as a separate video. So for the breath of fire, breathmaster technique, breath of life clinic, um, the knee raises, standing, seated, lying knee raises, all of these things, you get a separate video where I guide you through each of those, and you get access to that for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah. And hopefully more access to you as well because man, like as you grow into your knowledge, you're gonna have more questions. And
Mm-hmm.
it's good to be able to have this communication with you. I think it's pretty dope, pretty awesome. And it just bleeds over to what I'm already doing with UC for Lester. So
Yeah.
that's why I had to make sure that all 3 of us meet because we each utilize the breath in our own way, and it's pretty awesome that you have created something, and it's awesome to be a part of it.
I got a question for Sifu.
Yeah.
You just heard me explain how I tie the breath movement throughout the course of the day.
Mm-hmm.
You're a Tai Chi master.
Mm-hmm.
You've studied this for, you said, going on 3 decades now.
Right.
What's your take on the opportunity to be able to do breath work at any point in time during the day? Basically, Tai Chi throughout the course of the day, Qigong throughout the course of the day. What's your
Right.
take on that?
Oh, it's actually a philosophy that I do my best to enforce. I don't want to say enforce, but encourage people to use.
Mm-hmm.
We say everything is Tai Chi.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not meaning that you walk around doing a Tai Chi form per se, doing these movements, but it's just a Tai Chi philosophy and bringing that into your life. And how can you do that? Mind, body, and breath. And here you are with the breath. I'm encouraging all my Tai Chi people to get in touch with you because you focus more on the breath than I do. And I know you have a lot to offer all of us.
Yes. And since we're down here on the muck, I want to shout out to all my muck folk. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the muck, go to YouTube and look up Muck Bowl. Glade Central High and Pahokee High have had a rival before I was in high school, back in the 70s. I'm talking about going back to the 60s. They've had a rivalry, and it is such a phenomenal family rivalry that the football teams, when they collide, it has become epic to the point where now they have the Mug Bowl. And I don't recall the year, but over a decade ago, they had a gentleman from Belglade, from the Glade Central team, and a gentleman from the Pahokee team in the Super Bowl. That's how serious football is on the muck. And for those people from the muck who are watching, and you talking about track stars and all of this, y'all want to increase your breathing capacity. So I'm reaching out to anybody that's got some inroads down here to help me get deeper into the area where you have folks who are teaching track, coaching football, and any other athletic sport, where I can share what it is that I have in my hometown. They said charity begins at home. I'm willing to work, to give, to help, and to take this to another level. Who knows? One day we might have 5 folk from East Side in the Super Bowl. So shout out to Belgrade and the Muck. This is the best place to be.
Run out and get you some sugar cane.
Yeah,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
Stay
Sugar
away
cane
from
was
that processed
awesome.
sugar.
Yeah, and you know my teeth feel stronger and like brushed after.
I was gonna say, I feel like from the fiber, you actually
Yeah.
brushing your teeth naturally.
Yeah.
From chewing, from the mastication.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
So anything
Yeah.
else?
I am good. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with Sifu Lester, the Yoga Master, and
Right
the
back at you,
Breath
family.
Master. Thank
Yeah,
you guys
look him
so
up.
much. Straight out of Belgrade, could you tell us one more time what these people can reach you?
Online, you're talking about social media.
Yes.
Breathmaster 8
Mm-hmm.
on Twitter and Instagram, mostly Instagram. On Facebook, Breathmaster Aaron Motley, also on YouTube. And I'm going to be, well, I actually have started a Patreon, but I haven't populated it and put
Mm-hmm.
all of the little mechanisms in place. But I'm going to be like my big brother here. When I grow up, I'm going to have me a full-fledged Patreon. So I'll be looking for people to come and support in that
Mhm.
platform so that I can be giving as much information to as many people who are deserving as possible. And I give thanks for this opportunity. I appreciate you all. Appreciate these good brothers. And we out.
Right back at you, family.
Peace.
Who came in today? Rob was up in